Jim Schultz here for Calculated Risk, and don't forget, before we get started, the best ways you can help us are by liking the video or subscribing to the channel. Either one of those guys really helps us out a lot. So we use the Greeks every single day in almost every single thing that we do. Delta and Theta and Vega and Gamma and the entire crew. Well, maybe not Rho. We don't necessarily use Rho every single day, but every once in a while it may enter the old noggin. But either way, when we think about the Greeks that we do use, so I would say Delta, Theta, and Vega might be the three primary ones, with an honorable mention to maybe a little bit of Gamma. It's going to be Delta that commands the lion's share of what it is that we're trying to do. Well, today I wanted to take a couple of minutes and let's unpack exactly why that is, and let's go. So to start, let's just look at a very simple short put. Let's say you're looking at a 35 Delta short put with a Theta of maybe 8 and a Vega of maybe, let's say, 25. When you look at these different metrics, it looks like, okay, this doesn't look like a huge deal or a huge difference between what's going on, especially when you think about Delta and Vega. It's like, okay, Theta, it's just going to kind of, decay behind the scenes, kind of move more slowly. Like, I understand why that might not necessarily be, the front runner when it comes to what's going to impact my portfolio or a given position. But Delta at 35 and Vega at 25, those appear to be very similar. And they are very much the same on paper. They do look very similar in theory. But man, if only we had someone that was experienced in taking us from theory to practice, we would see they're not exactly the same thing. Because when you think about stocks that move around, indexes that move around, a 1-point move in a stock or an index, provided it's not, Snapchat or something that's sitting at, $5 or $10 or $20, those are a lot more commonplace than a 1-point move in implied volatility. Now, implied volatility can and will and does move, don't get me wrong, and there will be exceptions to this rule that we're going to unpack here in a couple of seconds. But just looking at this in terms of a default setting, going into this guy as Delta being that front runner, the primary Greek that's going to essentially dwarf Theta. It's going to dwarf Vega. I think this is a really solid default setting to apply to how you look at your Greeks every single day. Because remember, these are the three things that are going to be impacting your P&L. Delta, Theta, and Vega, direction, time, and volatility. So let's hop into Tasty Trade. Okay, so here I am inside of my Tasty Trade platform. I have the From Theory to Practice portfolio pulled up. Let's take a look at Walmart. So let's go into the trade page for Walmart. Let's look at the expiration cycles that are available. Walmart obviously has earnings coming up in a few weeks, so this wouldn't necessarily be the best time to do a trade in Walmart, in my opinion, but it will still work for the purposes of this example. Let's go ahead. Let's open up the September cycle with 60 days to go, and let's go ahead and set up a short put in Walmart. Let's say that we were eyeing down this 105 short put in Walmart. 105 strikes, you've got the stock at 112. I've got, my delta on this guy at 25, 26. And then if I change my drop-down menus over here on the other column that's on the watch list here, I change from extrinsic value to theta. This will show you that now my theta on this 25, 26 delta short put is about $3.50. Now, again, remember, the only reason that these are negative is because I'm looking at the puts. Calls are always positive when it comes to the delta and negative when it comes to the theta, because the Greeks are always presented from the vantage point of the long side of the option contract. If I sold this 105 put, this delta, of course, would be positive, and this theta, of course, would be positive. But again, look at the delta. It's 26. So now I have a delta on Walmart at the 105 strike of 26. So that means every dollar that Walmart moves, my option P&L is going to move around by 26 cents. That's a lot more than the 3 cents or 3.5 cents of daily theta that I'm going to pick up from the theta column. And then if I delete those circles and I change theta to Vega, you're now going to see that at the 105 strike, my Vega is only 15. So again, I have an implied volatility in Walmart of 30%. For Walmart to move in terms of its implied volatility by 1 full percentage point, it can happen, and it does happen, but it's not going to be as prevalent as the stock itself simply moving around. You can see that Walmart today is down $1.60. So, I mean, that would be what, 40, 45 cents in options P&L change from just the stock price movement. And we're not even, we're halfway done with the day. We're almost halfway done with the trading session as of right now. And so you can see Delta dwarfing both Theta and Vega as a default setting really makes a lot of sense. Okay, so that is our default setting, you know, when Delta is dwarfing both Theta and Vega. But one exception to that is when you're dealing with higher price stocks. Like, for instance, if I take a look at AMD, Advanced Micro Devices, but we all know on the streets, it is Advanced Money Destroyer. You can see this is now a $500 stock. And so when you start getting over $100, $200 per share, the Greek, in terms of the ranking or the hierarchy, does indeed change. Case in point, take a look at what happens if I go into September. So if I go into September and I pull up, again, just kind of a run-of-the-mill 30 Delta put, starting with my Theta, right? Now all of a sudden my Theta is bigger than my Delta. Now again, you also have to keep in mind this Theta number is on a daily basis. This Delta number is on a per dollar move. So I would say that Delta is still pulling rank here, but it's a little bit of a different discussion, right? Because now I have a lot more decay on a daily basis. Because again, this is 30 cents per dollar and it's already moved $16 so far today. But look at what happens when we look at Vega in this last column. So if I change that to Vega, now my Vega is 73, so it's over 2x what I see now with Delta. So when you're dealing with the higher price stocks, I'm going to say anything over $200, you really start to see this phenomenon begin to unfold. You're going to have to kind of throw that default setting hierarchy out of the window and take a look at each individually, because you're going to see some different relationships. And then exception number two, of course, is going to be if you're not looking at an undefined risk strategy, if you're doing some kind of spread, any kind of spread, where maybe instead of looking at, you know, this 460 put, I'm looking at a 460, 450 put spread. Now my Delta, my Theta, and my corresponding Vega are all going to be far more muted, because now I'm selling one option but buying another. And so whatever I pick up from one option effectively gets canceled out largely by the other option. So you can see my Delta now is only a net positive about 2, because I'm positive 31-ish and I'm negative 29-ish. So that leaves me with a positive 2. My Theta is only $1 per day. So again, I'm positive from the option I sell. I'm negative from the option that I buy. And then, of course, my net Vega is going to be very similar to the previous two. I don't see it in the trade bar, but I can just eyeball that and I can see that, okay, I'm only going to be net short about 3 Vega. I'm short 74 from the short option. I'm long 71 from the long option. The net, of course, is going to be net short 3 Vega. And so when you start thinking about, you know, Delta dwarfing the other two variables, that is a great default setting, but just be aware of these couple of exceptions that do exist. So remember, at the end of the day, it's going to be Delta, Theta, and Vega that are driving P&Ls. It's going to be direction, time, and volatility that are ultimately determining what happens in a given position and in the overall portfolio. So now, hopefully, you have some more skills and awareness and ability in determining the analysis around Delta, Theta, and Vega. You know, kind of what should be your default setting, what are the exceptions, and I will see you guys in the next one.